lesson I'm going to teach today is over simple events. We're going to go over a few definitions before we start an activity that we have. The first definition is outcome. An outcome is any one of the possible results of an action. The next term is simple event. And a simple event is one outcome or a collection of outcomes. And probability. Probability is the chance of a certain outcome to an event happening. Alright, now we're going to find a few probabilities. And the probability, as you see, of an event equals the favorable outcomes. So it's the number of possible outcomes that we'll have. So we're going to start with rolling a dice. And how many sides does a dice have? 6. Very good. So our total number of outcomes is 6. So will our 6 be the numerator or the denominator? Denominator, very good. So we know that our denominator is 6, as you can see. Alright, so how many 5s are there on a dice? There's only one 5, correct. So, what is the probability that we will roll a 5 on a dice that has 6 possible outcomes? So we'll go ahead and roll it. We rolled a 6. Well, that's not a 5, but there's only one possible outcome for each number. So our numerator is going to be a what? It's going to be a 1. Very good. Sometimes this is a little bit tricky. There we go. We got our 1. Alright, so what's the possible outcome of getting a 4 on the dice? 1/6. Very good. Alright, the next example we're going to do is the probability, which is represented by the P, of getting a factor of 10 on a dice. So let's name the factors of 10 that are on a dice. We have 1. 1 is a factor of 10. 2. 2 is a factor of 10. And 5. 5 is a factor of 10. So let's roll our dice and see if we get a 1, a 2, or a 5, which are all factors of 10. We did. We got 1. So how many possible outcomes are there on a dice, as we said earlier in our first problem? Right, there are 6. So let's move down. Oh, we got our 6. Now we said the factors of 10 are 1, 2, and 5. So therefore, we have 3 possible choices that we can have out of 6 outcomes. Alright, now we have our wheel that we're going to spin. We're going to find some probabilities from our wheel. Let's go ahead and count the number of letters that we have on our wheel. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters on our wheel. So, we're going to find the probability of spinning an E. So, if we have 5 letters on our wheel, how many outcomes could we have? What's going to be our denominator? 5. Very good. So we know that. How many E's are on this wheel? There's only one, isn't there? So what is going to be our probability of getting an E? 1/5. Let's go ahead and spin our wheel. We got an A. So the probability of getting an A, or any one single of these letters, would be 1/5. Alright, our next example is going to be, what's the probability of getting a vowel? And we know our vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. So what vowels do we have on here? We have A and we have E. So we have 2 vowels. And from our problem above, we already know that our total number of outcomes, or our denominator, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know it's 5. Alright, and we said that we had how many vowels? 2 vowels. We have an A and we have an E. Very good. So our probability of getting a vowel on this spinning wheel is 2/5. Very good. Alright, we're going to go down and look at another definition. Alright, this is called complementary events. And this means the probability of an event happening and the probability of it not happening. So we're going to look at two different sides of the probability. Alright, the probability of getting a 4 on a dice. Now we did this earlier, but let's remember. Alright, how many sides are there on a dice? There are 6 sides. So is that going to be our numerator or our denominator? It's going to be our denominator. So we have a 6. Total number of outcomes. Alright, now we want to see what our probability of getting a 4 is. So how many 4s are there on a dice? There's 1. So what's our probability? We have 1/6. Good job. Alright, now the complementary. It's how many, the probability of the event happening and the probability of it not happening. So, how many sides are there on the dice? We have 6 sides. So our probability, we know of not getting 4, we know our denominator is still going to be a 6. Very good. So we'll go ahead and do that. Alright, we know that our probability of getting a 4 is only 1/6. So our probability of not getting a 4 would be what? Okay, you don't know? So, how many possible outcomes on a dice are there that are not a 4? Well, we know we have 6 outcomes, and we know one of them is a 4. So what is 6 minus 1? 5. So what is our numerator in this probability? It's a 5. Good job. So we just did a complementary event. Very good. So let's go back up here and do a couple more probabilities on our dice and on our spinning wheel. Alright, let's say what is the probability that we're going to get an even number. I'll come over here so you can see the wheel. What is the probability that we're going to get an even number on this dice? Alright, let's go over our even numbers. We have 2, we have 4, and we have 6. So we have 3 possible outcomes of an even number on a dice. So we know our denominator is going to be 6 because we know there's 6 possible outcomes on a dice. And we have 3 possible outcomes of an even number. So what's our probability going to be? 3/6. So let's see if we get an even number. We got a 3. We didn't get an even number. But the probability of getting an odd number is going to be the same because we have 1, 3, and 5. So what's another way of saying 3/6? 1/2. Very good. So the probability of getting an even number is 1/2 on a dice, and the probability of getting an odd number is 1/2 on a dice. Excellent. Alright. So what's the probability that we're going to get an orange slice on this spinning wheel? Well, let's count however many outcomes that we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know our denominator is 5. Alright, how many orange slices are there on this spinning wheel? We only have 1. So, let's go ahead and spin it and see if we get it. No, we didn't, because our probability is so low, because the probability of getting an orange slice would only be 1/5, because we have 5 possible outcomes, and only 1 slice was orange. So 1 is the numerator, 5 is the denominator. Alright, I think that concludes our lesson over probability. I'm Morgan Hitchcock. Thank you very much.